Good afternoon, everyone. Tom Leahy with Optimum Ed. Welcome to Optimum Ed Live. A great Thursday afternoon. Wonderful weather. Kids are, for the most part, back in school. I guess there may be some that aren't going to be returning until after Labor Day, but down
Close.
here in my part of the world, kids are back in school. The buses are on the roads, and hey, life is great. So anyway, really excited today to have a special guest with us. For Optimum Ed, we do operate across the country, helping kids figure out what direction to go in terms of life and how it translates into academic path and where they should be going to school. And we can place students internationally. And I ran into Nat at a networking meeting not too long ago. And I was really intrigued by his involvement with the Aspect Foundation, which is all about international exchange. And so I wanted to bring him on and talk about that. Because I thought it would be of real interest to our listeners and to our clients. Because, one of the things we have to think about with our kids, tell me if I'm wrong, Nat, is, we need to broaden their horizons. We need to educate them about other things. It's not all about GPA and standardized test scores when it comes to being successful. And so I think it's great that you're here. Thank you very much. So anyway, Nat Cross, he's an agent with Realty Richmond, but we're talking about his side hustle, which is this international exchange program through Aspect Foundation. And so I want to first ask you how you got involved with the exchange program, or I guess international exchanging students, or however you want to say it.
Sure. So, frankly, I was reading the paper, and there was an ad there asking for any families who are looking to host an international student. At the time, I had two kids, one in high school, one in middle school, both of them taking Spanish. I got an international studies minor in college. I like the international aspect. I like travel. And I thought, what a great opportunity to bring someone into my house to teach my kids. At the time, I was thinking it would be great to have a Spanish speaker come in to help my kids learn Spanish. So we participated in a similar program back in 2008 and just had wonderful memories from that. And so looking for a way to get back into it, Aspect had the opportunity for me to partner with them. And so my job now is looking for host families that want to share their home for either a semester or an entire school year with foreign kids ages typically 15 to 18.
Yeah, so I was going to ask how long the program was. So it could be a semester, it could be an entire year. Are we talking? And we're talking high school kids, college kids.
High school kids.
High school kids. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, all of our high school kids, some of them might have graduated their homeschooling and are coming back for kind of a gap year before they go off. But it's typically 15 to 18-year-olds.
Okay, great. Yeah. Because I remember when they were in elementary school, we did a French exchange program for a couple of my kids. And I remember that those experiences, they were just really terrific, having that exchange and having that to talk about different cultures and that sort of thing. So all right, so how does this work in terms of being a host family? Do you go through a vetting process?
Sure.
What does that look like?
Sure. So I guess, Tom, the first thing to say is, what does a host family look like?
Yeah.
And really, so that can be an individual. That can be, couples with no kids, couples with kids through varying ages. It can be empty nesters. Really, it's anybody who has the interest in hosting the child. So what would happen is they would go to the website. They can look at information on the kids, and if they're interested in someone from Spain or from Brazil or a certain area, they can look that way. They can also search male, female, and come up, and also ages. And there's also a list of their activities. So let's say your family's big into outdoors, cooking, arts, and entertainment. These kids list their desires and things as well for them. So you look for them. I come in, I start the vetting process, meeting with the family. There are extensive background checks that are done.
Sure.
My role is whoever that family group is going to be, I'm going to sit them all down in the house at the same time and have a conversation about what's expected and then kind of what they are looking forward to. And so that would be everybody from the infant to, if grandma and grandpa, multi-generational family, everybody's going to be there. Great. So that starts the process. Frankly, we have the school year starting now. They're still trying to slide a couple of kids in there to make this school year. So it can be a quick process.
Well, I didn't realize that there was that matching that you could actually shop, I guess, for
yeah.
You want to host, which is great. I don't remember us having a choice when we were.
So I think it's good though, because if you know your family or how you are, and then you can see where the kids are. I mean, you can also see the family dynamics from the child's perspective. So if they're a single child, maybe you don't want to put them into a family that's already got 6 kids. Maybe that's too much of a cultural shock for them. But there's things that we talk about those meetings.
So for a family who is anticipating doing this, what should be their expectations? I guess
Sure.
What should they? Managing expectations. I suppose what should they be expecting to see, to experience, that sort of thing.
So they should expect to see a child, a teenager, who is extremely excited to be here. These kids, we grow up in an American-centered society, right? We watch our Hollywood films and we focus on ourselves. These kids, smaller countries, America's the rising star. Everybody looks up to it. They really want to come and see. They want to get a taste. And is it real? So for the most part, they are saying, I don't care where I go in the United States. I just want to spend a year. I want to practice my English. I want to get better at my English. And so from the family perspective, I think the most important thing for you to consider is when this child comes in, I am going to treat them like one of my children. Okay. Right. So if my kids do chores, they're going to do chores. That's
a good point. Okay.
If we have family events, we're going to do family events. Saying that, these kids come with their own insurance. They come financially able to, buy their personal needs and things like that. But it is a financial expense for the host family because you're expected to feed them 3 times a day. You're expected to provide transportation where needed, house them, in livable situations and things like that. So that's something else you need to think about.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So you've been through this previously. So what did you learn? I mean, what did your kids learn? I mean, what was that experience like?
So for us, it was wonderful. You do have some ups and downs, but I was very determined that Julia was our student's name, that we were going to bring Julia in and she was going to be a part of our family. So, she arrived, we picked her up from the airport. We actually went to the beach the next week. And so had an American beach vacation with us. That first week was the first time she ever ate corn on the cob. So that was, one of the learning experiences that as a European, they're looking at corn is for cows, not for people. Yeah. She was happily surprised. So, and just, as the year progressed, Thanksgiving is a wonderful holiday that the rest of the world doesn't celebrate. Understanding there, we got time for Christmas. It was how do you celebrate there? And we learned about different traditions that they have, participated in some of those traditions. So it was wonderful.
Right. And I'm assuming your kids just really embraced the whole thing. And
they did. I actually, or when we talked about it, my daughter was a rising junior. Julia was a rising sophomore. So I'll be honest, there was a little competition there, I think, from my daughter. My daughter was kind of like, hey, who's this kid kind of stealing my thunder at high school? My son, who was a couple of years younger, they were buds. They carved pumpkins together. They threw snowballs at each other. So they did those things. Since she left, and we have, she's come back. We've had family vacations with her. Everybody gets along, and she is a member of the family.
So you kind of mentioned the financial piece that the family takes on in terms of having this additional family member living with you. And I, not to be discouraging or anything, but and back to managing expectations. What are some of the perhaps could be the downside to this?
Great question. And I would sit there and say, if you as the family if you're struggling financially, if you're worried about job securities or how we're going to pay certain bills, might not be the time to jump into this. Doesn't mean you need to be, the richest person in the world, because some of the costs you're already paying for electricity for your house. You might have somebody taking an extra shower a day. You will be buying some extra food and things like that. But we found that for us, that really wasn't an issue. Like I said, we took her on vacation with us. It was a vacation that we were going to do anyway. When we went out for meals and things like that, we went ahead and, covered her like we would our own kids.
Right. Okay, great. The Aspect Foundation, I was intrigued by this term that you used, citizen diplomacy.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of a two-way street, and so I wanted to ask about the opportunity for our kids to go there. If we have someone from Spain coming here, can we send our student to live with a Spanish family for a period of time?
Sure. And typically, we do these things, and typically as Americans, we do these through foreign language exchanges and options like that. I would like to say that citizen diplomacy phrase, this really came out in the 50s when the Cold War was first starting. And so, yes, we have diplomats running around representing the United States, but the government and all of this exchange student is blessed by the government and is managed, looked over by the government. Said, hey, we can send these people out, but if we can bring these kids and live here for 6 months, 12 months, what kind of learning, how are they going to go back? And when people start talking about America and their country, they've lived here, they've been here, they can say, hey, this is what truly Americans are like.
Terrific. Okay, so how does a family get more information? Do they go to the Aspect Foundation website, or?
Yeah, so aspectfoundation.org is a great place to go. Happy to, my email or cell phone, they can call me. But anybody, within the Richmond area, if they're looking, is going to, eventually run into me. If you're talking, you're nationwide. So if somebody's out in Montana, look up on the website, and you can link directly into Aspect that way. And someone like myself, international coordinator, will make contact with them.
Yeah, very good. All right, yeah, and if that doesn't work for you folks, you can always get to Nat through OptumEd. Give us a call, 804-417-4807, or our website. We will be having a link on our website to Aspect Foundation, so that might be an easy way to get there as well. So, Nat, thanks so much for being here today. I appreciate it very much. And I have to say, I love your name. I think you should be a hero in a Tom Clancy novel.
I don't know if I have a face for
it. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks so much for sharing. And everybody,
thank you.
Have a great weekend. Thanks. Take care.